What's up? What's up? Let me go ahead and get this posted up. Oh, shit. Well, I'll give everybody a second to get in here. I just alerted the Discord, but god damn it. I was gonna signal a gold sell to you guys, but it's already moving a little bit. And I'm not my overall bias with gold, okay, is that we're gonna go much lower, right? I think that this is a very conservative target, but we are trading pre CPI and gold moves super fucked up on with that. So I'm not looking to like degen, you know what I mean, and hold. I could see another push up. Like I could see this beginning distribution schematic, and us, I could easily see a reversal under this area to come up and maybe even dig up into these highs. That would be the gold thing to do. So I was going to signal this, but it's a little too late as far as risk to reward. It's far under what it was. Only thing about having to copy and paste and type everything out while I'm streaming. Oh well. So I'll go over and jump into indices because they haven't really given. I think the true entry was right here for this morning, the one that I would have wanted to take, but it didn't really give um, the price action I wanted. I kind of didn't. If I would, I should have. If I would have seen it earlier, this to me, this isn't really as much of a fair value gap as I want to see. We are under old lows now. We have a lot of
Check your.
liquidity. Say what?
Do you got exclamation point?
What is it?
Oh, you don't. So the data on TradingView is fucking up right now, bro.
Dude, it's so fucked, bro. Is it so it's
You
not
got
just
an,
mine?
you got an error come up. It says some users may face slow loading of the charts and drawings. We're
Yeah,
on the
that's yeah.
fix, and all the just got exclamation points across them.
Yeah, my shit's not, it hasn't done that, but it's been like eliminating my drawings.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, see, I mean, honestly, in this like
CPI.
yeah, they're just straight fucking everybody, huh?
Yeah.
They're just like, get fucked, guys. Have fun trading.
Really great.
Um, Man, crypto took a fucking nosedive. I honestly thought it was gonna catch some bids in this area, but I mean, it's following the daily bias. I'll do the recap tomorrow, but this is what we were leaning towards was more down movement before the DOL. So um, indices as well. And that was really what we needed was a little bit just more of price action or time to tell us what price action wanted to do. I still see all this getting cleared, but I see that probably happening with that would wouldn't surprise me to see that happen with CPI. God, these gold shorts are
Yep,
printing.
we're gonna have a good CPI, bro. The market's gonna rail for 2 months.
Fuck.
Perfect setup for rug pull.
Right. Literally. Yeah, I mean the setup I saw the most value in is US 30, but even then, usually like I could see a nice little rally to the upside, but I mean, we cleared out this low, which was also yesterday's New York low down here. We took a lot of lows out into an imbalance and saw a nice move away from it. But I'm looking at the 15 minute. I mean, really, the next target would be um, this area right here, this imbalance and these highs for me, or this high we just made this morning would be another target because the way I look at it, it's kind of fickle here. Like, yes, we had a 15-minute imbalance here, but that got cleaned. So we cleaned out this low. So that would lead me to look, tell price to look above this high. So the risk to reward, though, where it's at it's just not there for me because this would be a main target. So um, I'll take 2R. I have been entertaining a lot lower risk to reward, than I usually take, but this to me is not something I'm gonna expose myself to. But I could see that unfolding. Dude, I had a short on ETH. I opened up last night. It was just a super wide stop, but I closed it this morning. I'm like, probably should have held it. But XMR is a setup I got my eyes on now too. It fucking smacked off. I was in bed last night looking at charts on my phone, and XMR straight annihilated um, the lows when we tapped into this daily imbalance. So nice liquidity right here, massive imbalance. I just marked a 4-hour POI. It's inside the imbalance as well. Really, I'll watch price anywhere. It depends how far it moves down. If it moves much farther down, I'll still just start looking for imbalances on like a 1 hour. But this setup I like for shorts because if you look at the daily, this shit has so much room to fall. Like all this trendline liquidity building up, it's just like a stairway. It's this shit's gonna topple. And I mean, even like like say if we push back up into here, the just the main daily target, you could almost trade the damn 4 hour, and get good risk to reward. It's like a 10% drop to the draw on the daily. But I'm not really gonna force anything today. My experience with CPI days, the day before CPIs, they're usually really fickle, and you'll get kind of frustrating price action, or it'll just be choppy. That's when you'll see your edge fail a lot of the time, especially if you're playing liquidity. So I'm not gonna really rush into anything. What's DXY doing? It's just consolidating, straight up chilling on that fair value gap. Sus. Yeah, I don't think today will be too exciting. Like we might we might see some moves, but in my opinion, it's not going to be the kind of moves that I would personally want to play. What's up, Adaliki? You wanted to review. Um, I'm not sure what that was. A 5 minute. If you give me like a rundown on what you want to review, because I saw that ETH chart, but um, I'm not sure exactly what you were getting at. And then also for your question, you asked me, um, why do liquidity grabs happen? It's basically, yeah, like you said, market makers don't necessarily have enough liquidity to sell to or buy from, so they create it. So like for instance, if they have a lot of orders left in an imbalance, they're going to usually create support in front of that imbalance. So whenever price pushes into it, those orders can be filled because there's enough liquidity. So that's why you see lick raids into imbalances a lot of the times, because they have orders left behind in these imbalances because they pushed price up, and price expanded so fast that their orders weren't filled. So they want to push price back down into those areas, but they need enough liquidity for those orders to be filled. So the way they do that is they'll create a low right in front of the imbalance and then push price under the low, or vice versa. If it's high under the imbalance, whatever it is. It's all the same formula. Aussie dollar. Um, Chart took a second to load. What the hell? Oh, never mind. It's over here. Yeah, it's pushing up. I want to see it come up into our limit. That would be amazing. I really want this to hit before CPI, preferably. If it's going to hit, I'd rather be active and in this trade, not while that's, about to come out. It's an alert for this. Forgot to do that. Yeah, and this is exactly why I didn't really want to mess with indices, because like the impulse move wasn't really all that crazy, right? So whenever you have the move of the morning, the liquidity raid that you're trying to play the rebound of, you're only really looking for a move back into a premium, if for at least some of your immediate target points. And then looking at the 15-minute, like we said earlier, your main liquidity objective would be this high. So it's like, I mean, even if you caught if you caught the absolute bottom here, maybe it would have been feasible, because that would be something like this. Let's just say you played. I mean, if you caught the absolute bottom, which, obviously no one, I mean, someone probably did, but that would have been feasible to catch, to move all the way up there. But for me, I hadn't really got what I needed at that point. I didn't like how price reacted to this fair value gap. It really kind of just disregarded it. But now it's just hanging out around a equilibrium. Um, Yeah, the equal highs above the fair value gap, that's the only thing that was kind of discouraging me, but I'm just following the confirmation method that I use. Um, One thing that I did look at was, you see how all got ran by this high. So once price came above these highs, right, it went into an imbalance and then moved pretty violently away from it, giving that shift in market structure. So that was what gave me more confidence in this level, because yeah, they are equal like visually, but when you really look at them, um, all this got ran here and then that got ran here. So like this would be um, theoretically like a three drive, if you will. It'd probably look a little different than what you're used to seeing, because it was kind of on the same going to the downside. It was rating liquidity on both sides. But yeah, I definitely took notice of those. But at the end of the day, I just use the confirmation method that I always have used with supply and demand. And it was we got a 4 hour change of character over here, whichever you use, this low or this low. Then I refined that POI to a 1 hour, right? Because it's the last candle before any real displacement. As price reached up into that, we rated a lot of liquidity over here, all these highs, and then yes, we have engineered some highs right here in front of that zone, but price reached up in where I wanted it to go, which was this buy to sell range, and then we saw that 5 minute confirmation over here. But I do see what you're saying, because I could also see price come all the way up into this candle as well. So I would have my eyes on that. But yeah, so that's kind of what I'm watching for on Aussie dollar. I caught a little morning trade on this. It was nice. I took too much profits early, but it was a nice little liquidity rate. It came under this London low right here. Barely pipped it. 1 minute got a break of structure with displacement right there, and I didn't really. There was no entry off this because it got it here, but there was no fair value gap. So I waited till over here. We got that closure immediately. I just marketed it because it came right back down into it, and then just targeted the equal highs. But I trimmed way too early. I took a bunch of problems, right, or not problems, bunch of profits right there. That was a problem I had with that trade. I was kind of like, wow, you idiot. But it is what it is. Really, I could have taken and held it even longer, but yeah, I really like the way Aussie dollar moves. Yeah, Sol. I'll look at Sol. So let me just tweet everything. Overall, hmm, this is interesting. You're probably right around. Yeah, you're right around that daily EQ. So prices kind of being fickle, and it's hard to really get a clear draw on liquidity, in my opinion. Like once we came down to this and moved away from it, I would have said to look for this high, but none of these highs are really that clean. Maybe kind of like this trend line right here would be some liquidity, but really, depending on how unless this day turns around real hard and goes bullish, I would look for a flush down into this imbalance overall. So I know you said you're in a long move. Not now. You might, like I said, this day could turn around. So I'm just trying to go from the daily and get an idea from that of what I could see price doing, and then frame the lower time frame bias around that. So that's the daily. The buy side liquidity really for me in this local little range we have is going to be right there. Um, So this is kind of the range point up on the daily. On the 4-hour, see the 4-hour structure, like just going off of like swing structure, I would almost look for all this to get cleared. And the reason for that is that when we're looking at, our overall market structure, this is a pretty complex 4-hour range. I would look at it as all of this because for me, the swing structure, it came up, came down, and then we had this range, came up, took that high. But now, this entire range is your swing structure. So, after we got the break of structure, we're looking for that retracement. And then once price comes back down into a discount, we see a nice reaction here, right off this little sell to buy range and the imbalance fill. But the only problem with it is price comes all the way back up here and then fails to take the high. This, I would say this is definitely a complex pullback at this point. So more or less what you'd be looking at would be, the scenario that these are weak lows. And I know you're probably like, hurry up, I'm in longs right now. This is how I got to do it. So overall scenario, I would look at it like, got a lot of weak lows here, right? You got right there and right there. Those are going to be could be liquidity targets. And that goes along with that daily bias, right? Really, this would be the first one. So I try to take like stepping stones. So overall bias would be sells, in my opinion, but you might see rebound. So if I'm looking at this off a fair value gap limit, I'm guessing you're talking about this. If you want to drop a comment and correct me if it's wrong, but I'm guessing that's what you're talking about right there. And if that's the case, I mean, I could definitely see this retracing up this a little bit for sure, right? I mean, it's already kind of shown that desire to. Um, Not really any clear displacement in my opinion. I haven't really traded SOL like that on the low time frames. Lower, okay. So what time frame are you on? Maybe like a 5-minute fair value gap or something. 1 hour. Okay. Wait, where am I at? I'm not sure. Oh, this. Well, wait. Okay, I just want to make. So you said your longs with limits at a fair value gap. Are you saying like your long limits were at a fair value gap, or not at a fair value gap? I'm a little confused. Just let me know. Overall, though, I mean, came down to this demand candle. Okay, okay. I mean, you got equal lows there now, right? Relatively equal lows. You did come to this demand candle. I mean, I wouldn't look for much more of a move than equilibrium here. I'd say price somewhere in this 40.50 range right there. That's where I would look for a potential selling scenario. But at the end of the day, with alts, I just wait, man. Like I just wait till they're down towards those daily drawn liquidities because they're fickle intraday. But I mean, you did remove a lot of sell side here. You took out this low, but it's not really showing displacement under those lows. So I don't really think smart money's buying this dip. I think price is kind of just gravitating back up to these orders, just where there's liquidity. But overall, yeah, supply and demand trader might look at that like a long, but I would look at it more like potential. Just wait to sell it. If anything, you could wait till price comes up into this zone up here into a premium, and then if you get some price action like why does it not click? If you get some price action like this with displacement, you can look for that fair value gap to frame a sell around. Just sell off the fair value gap and then target, because then you've got a very clean liquidity target. That's the only thing I would even entertain here. But even then, I'd probably just chill on it.
Can you look at XLM?
XLM, yeah, for sure. A lot of these like old like blue chip cryptos are like some of the best looking coins. Like I haven't looked at XLM, but I know Glacier got you guys a bag in this. I would look for a little retracement here though. I will say that. So see how you came up above this high and you didn't close above it on the. Fuck, I need to make it where I can see on the daily. So see where you came above that and you didn't close, and you also went into this imbalance. This is exactly what we are just going over, like liquidity raids into an imbalance. So there, that would be a selling opportunity. You know what I mean? Um, Coming back down into this region here. If anything, I like this order block right there. So I would look for price to gravitate down to that. Draw on liquidity would be in, really one of these imbalances, but I like how this order block sits right between them. So that's where my attention would be. I wish I had a signal these gold fucking sells for you guys. They're going crazy. I tried, but it was too late. But yeah, I like this order block right here. Overall, this looks good though. Like this looks really good in my opinion. Let's look at the weekly. Yeah, I mean weekly, man, it's kind of fickle. I think the daily is kind of just playing out. You've also got a weekly order block right here that hasn't been traded into. Right there. See that big down candle? So, this market makers entered sells here to induce retail to sell to them. And, um, you've also could, this would be a stretch, but you could look at this like a breaker because it really did. I mean, it took a lot of stops. So, I mean, I guess that'd be a weird one. Um, I, I wouldn't pay as much mind to it, but the point being that this area is a value zone and it looks good. Like I like this. I mean, the weekly, if you start to, that daily draw on liquidity gets satisfied and then price starts to move to the upside, I would be looking for, I mean, up in this area. I know that sounds a little crazy, but, um, and a lot of these blue chip cryptos, well, I wouldn't even consider Exxon blue chip, but it's been around, right? Like anybody who's traded crypto for a long time, like this shit's been around for a minute. And like look at this. This just caught my eye. Look how he reacted to that order block right off of it. We're very close to the body of it. So a lot of these blue chip coins, it seems like they're getting accumulated. Also, this might be like a harmonic on the weekly, which I haven't really been playing them, but on high time frames, I still pay attention to them. Could be a shark or something. Yeah, it's a shark. If I'm not mistaken. I can't remember how high they can go actually here. It's been a while since I traded harmonics. I'm gonna look it up. I know that the D point is 1.13, and I think this is 1.618. Is the BC leg, or I guess the XA extension, I should say. Where is it? Yeah, so yeah, this is actually, damn, this shit looks fucking fire, bro. So you got that weekly. I wonder if that's what Glacier had seen. Let me tag him. 'Cause I want to say that shit looks fucking amazing.
I like a got like a 114 entry on it.
Say what?
I mean, I guess just given the chart, it'd be like a long hold.
Say what was that?
I got like a 114 entry on it, but like just given the chart, would you expect just to hold it for a minute? Because it seems like if we're looking for like weekly imbalances, it might take some time.
I mean, yeah, it definitely could take some time. My bad. I was looking at a message, but it could definitely take some time for the weekly imbalance. Like, I mean, what I would look for is to see how we react here. Now, if you get a bullish reaction here, Oh, that's gonna be a big bull because you like literally if you start to reverse here and the daily shows displacement, like we get an impulsive move here, right? And we don't like just rush down to like let's just say price kind of compresses into it, doesn't really leave any displacements, then you don't have any liquidity targets except this high. So I mean, off rip, let's just say you close the day here and then you kind of mosey on down, you don't really leave a huge imbalance. You know, off rip, you've got 20%. I mean, and that's on a daily chart. You know, you can obviously refine that and build your holy shit, gold is printing. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, I just need to look at this. Gold moves crazy, dude. And that sucks. I was gonna signal that for you guys. You can see at the beginning of the video too if you rewatch this. I was literally plotting this out and it just started dumping.
Price target for gold is 1752.
Yeah, no, for sure overall, but I'm not really. I think I have like the daily imbalance I have was 1740, but then this is this low what you're talking about right here, these kind of lows right here. I like that too. Because I had that
Yeah.
sell side look all these equal lows in the 4 hour. It's like yeah, 1752.
Yeah, I charted it with Jerry the other day, like 3 months ago,
Yeah.
2 months ago, and it's been hitting all the levels. He trades it like pretty intensely.
Yeah, that's all he trades, right?
Yeah. What the fuck happened to the market? I literally scratched my eye and it just rug pull.
Yeah, I'm not big on trading like before these kind of days with
Yep.
yeah. Like gold though is moving fire. I took some off. Back to XLM, my bad. I just looked at my MetaTrader and I was like, whoa. Yeah, but with XLM, like literally if you start to react bullish off of that level, I mean like that shit is dude, like it makes me want to load up to Coinbase. And I haven't even been doing that except like I did that Litecoin, but this shit looks good. I mean, but definitely look for some downside first. I'm actually gonna set an alert for this because I know that Glacier has you guys in it, but I'm gonna probably end up getting in as well. I mean, this is moving very nicely. So like this is a market, and this is what I was going over a little bit yesterday. And I saw someone on Twitter, they were trading like EU and they were saying something like EU's been like they put something like yeah, today basically they're like blaming it on the market or something. And I was just like, well, you know, what it really comes down to is you just have to find markets that, you know, are institutions are actively participating in, which means you have clear direction and clear manipulation, like this right here, right? On the daily chart, we rated liquidity candle shelved off of the equal highs right into an imbalance. That tells me someone's involved in this. Now, I don't really give a shit what they're involved in it to do, you know, on the long term, you know, like because everybody's like they just want to catch along and just ride that shit to Valhalla, which that shit's cool. But I'm more about figuring out my bias from that. And once you have a market where there are clear large participants, you can evaluate things a lot easier, in my opinion. If you're looking at it from, you know, a liquidity standpoint. So here, you know, we can tell there's somebody at play. I don't know if it's BlackRock, who it doesn't matter, right? But you know, look at this right over here. Like, look how this is clockwork. Clockwork. That's gonna do this. Have a check for the high time frames. I just don't really. You don't get a lot of clean. I mean, this is like moving extremely fucking clean. Whoever said to look this up, fucking thank you, because I'm gonna start paying a little bit more attention here. But I mean, look at that. Just deviate. It's deviating from one side of the range, goes all the way to the next into the imbalance. Now you're probably gonna come back around equilibrium to this entire move, which liquidity equilibrium there, daily order block, right? So usually when stuff happens like that, I don't look at it as much of a coincidence, if you will. I look at that more like an algorithm, a footprint of it. And at the end of the day, you know, we definitely are just trying to track, you know, our target. Think of it like, you know, you're out in the woods. This is actually an ICT quote, but he was like, you know, you're basically looking for a footprint, like, and you're a deer hunter, and you're looking for its print, and that's what this is. That's whenever you can tell there's involvement. There is no question that a bigger force is at play. So this zone right here is high value to me. I'm actually going to add this to my watch list. And I can't even really trade this on my Forex broker, but I want to watch it for you guys. And also maybe even equity. Because I will say one thing. It seems like to me that literally everybody and their fucking brother wants a goddamn market crash. Right? And I'm not saying the markets won't crash, but like it's almost getting too bearish for me. And I'm not I'm you know, you guys know me. I'm not one to sit here and like try to call like the next stock market crash and this and that, but um I think we'll go lower at some point, but I do think we could see a little bit more bullish price action, especially depending on how these numbers come out tomorrow. After the last FOMC and all the bullshit about, you know, there's or whether it's bullshit or not, whether there's no recession, whatever, you know, at the end of the day, I don't care about any of that. I just care what price is telling me and, you know, how I react to stuff. So, yeah, I took most of that gold. I'm actually going to leave the rest with stops at break even in case it just fucking free falls. My entry was a little different. I got in a little before this up there, but either one's good. One thing I've been doing too, Algo, do you ever like stagger your positions like on MT4?
That's called grid trading.
What's it called?
Grid trading. That's how I enter all my positions.
Like, I'm not sure because I see a lot of people doing it on like socials. I'm not sure if I'm doing it exactly the same or not. Basically, like what I'm doing is like, okay, like 15-minute confirmation. I enter some for certain coins, or well, I call everything coins. You can tell I fucking started in crypto, but for certain instruments, I'll be like on stream and I'm like watching Eurodollar. I'm like, yeah, this is good coin. It's like people are like, what the fuck is this guy saying? My mind's just crypto brained. But um uh
Grid trading.
yeah, my bad. I'm sending this dude's blowing me up.
You're good.
Got like 5 things, but yeah, no, no, good, thank you. But like literally, I've like to stagger some. Like I'll do like on the initial liquidity raid, like on like a 1 minute, like the initial first. If I'm playing raids, I'll put in like 0.3% risk, right? Because that'll be like the absolute snipe. Yeah, and this is if I'm framing it around a higher time frame. It'll be that, you know, I'll like up here if I was watching, which I wasn't, you know, get because you're kind of jumping the gun. You know what I mean? And then you know, from there wait for the 5-minute confirmation, and when price returns up into that 5-minute zone, then risk another 0.3%, right? And then once you start to get the 15, I've kind of been entertaining that because I like the idea of it because it gets you in a little earlier, but you're not, you know, degenning. So because there's a lot of times where I'll have trades where they're just like they just fucking completely leave without me, and it wasn't that I wasn't watching it. Like the other day with Bitcoin, that shit made me sad, bro. But you know, literally, because we we literally called this zone, um, like to the T, and then price, you know, gave us the liquidity raid, the low time frame equal highs got taken. This is clear. I mean, like if you wanted to teach someone redistribution, I'm not even a Wyckoff guy, and this is like you could use this for like a fucking infographic. But actually Flow, I'll probably have Flow or somebody make that because that would be good for them. They're good at Wyckoff. But right here, I looked at this. So this is where I look back, I'm like, okay, that's where I fucked up. So look, I picked this as my break, but I've
Mm-hmm.
found that if you use closures, a lot of times better. So if I would have used a closure, it would have been this fair. I would have looked at this one because like that's the fair value get that broke. You know, that was where the last little bit of supply was injected. But I looked at like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, you know, it's too technical. And I'm like, okay, here's a fair value gap. And I watched it hit this. I was like, oh, it's just a little reaction. It's gonna bounce off one of these. Then it was just like, dude,
Kept going, yeah.
literally just full throttle to the
Cool.
TP. I would have taken all here because it would have been for this short amount of time. Like, let's just say, you know, enter basically off that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it wouldn't even have been 3R, but I'm like this kind of shit. I enjoy that because it's like, bam. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no
Mm-hmm.
stress. Like, you can have a fucking 5-minute workday.
Yep. You can have a 5-minute workday and not get wrecked on options. Make
Right.
it easy breezy.
Yeah, options are
Yep.
just too many
Well,
moving parts for me. Maybe like leaps. I would do them like or like selling premium and shit like that. Like, that's the way I would want to do options.
Bro, it's just like to add to that though. It's like you said, if you have multiple positions, like points of interest, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Fucking, you grab some at the first one if they're relatively close. Obviously, you know that's how you can scale in. That way, if the first POI hits and like you have some exposure at least,
Yeah.
yep.
like and takes off like how Bitcoin did you. You know what I mean?
The way that we do it is like, so in any given position we have multiple POIs. So if you're trying to get like a sniper position or something, you know, you go with the first one. Like, let's say you're putting in $100, right?
Hmm.
I was explaining this to Tin Man. I was like, yo, if you're putting in $100 into a play, pick 3 different POIs, split that $100 evenly, go in 25, then 50, then 25. And you're gonna have a lower average, same stop loss, you're risking the same amount of money. But you know, what if it didn't go down to the $50 one or the last $25 one? You at least caught the first move with $25. You know, you're still in with a quarter of your port. So it's gonna work out. You know, your quarter your position. You're gonna make a quarter of profits, you know, kind of sucks, but hey, it is what it is. That's how it works. So that's just it, we call it grid trading, where people have multiple POIs and then you try to get in on, you know, different sections.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, and that's
fuck.
honestly that's like the way to do it. Like, especially if you're on a funded, bro. Because here's the thing, like, I've talked to quite a few people that have been fun. Like, I was talking to this one guy. He's been funded for like 2 years, but he's increased like how many he has like 5 different accounts, and the way he does everything, like he used to trade like, you know, a lot of like 10R, like 8R, and he literally just all he does now is he finds the entry and he just does a fixed 2R and he only risks 0.5%. But he swears up and fucking down that that's how he makes the most money. And I was like, really? Like, I mean, I guess I could see it though, to be honest. I really could see it because he's like, you know, usually I'm in a trade for less than 15, 20 minutes, you know, but he hits a lot of trades though, is the thing. You know what I mean? Like he'll hit like 5 trades every day. But his win rate, he showed me, like, I don't know about all his other things, but I was on a call with him and on his MFF, his win rate was like 70 something percent. I was like, God damn. But it's just liquidity rate, just ICT shit.
Mm.
I was like,
Yeah,
you're like
there's
the
different
fucking
ways of trading
algorithm,
it.
bro.
Yeah,
Motherfucker turned
like
into the
for
algo.
instance, gold. Yeah, you don't want to do that with gold because like gold
Cry.
moves. Like I've seen people that they're like, I got this down perfect entries in the fucking 5-second chart, and then they get licked because you know that's
Yeah.
just it is what it is. That's not how you trade that asset. You know,
I
you
trade
can white
gold.
coffee it all you want. You could do all the smart money. That one is the most manipulated asset in the market. And money, like, it's just to play it, you have to go small position, like conservative position sizing, and then incorporate that with grid trading, and you'll end up doing something good. That way, you don't because gold is notorious for running people stops. Like it doesn't give a fuck that you had a stop loss there. It's gonna keep going and fill you up higher or lower. You're gonna get fucked. Like I've seen it happen to me. You know, it's happened to Jerry. It's happened to to Flow. It's happened to JL. Like, and I keep telling him like, yo, you should be careful with this shit. I've been trading it for like, like 7 years. That shit moves crazy. So the secret solution to that is the whole grid trading, because you know you'll just either you catch it or you don't catch the loss,
Exactly. And I'm not gonna lie, I
because
like it with
you'll be
gold,
able to
bro.
save yourself.
It's the only one that I like
Yeah,
doing that
with
shit
that,
with.
it's key. Yeah, it's key. Like if I'm trading NQ in different sessions, you know how NQ doesn't really respect supply and demand,
Yeah,
right?
that's
But it
just straight
respects,
liquidity, bro.
you know. So if you look, you'll see that that only happens during New York session, where it doesn't respect supply and demand. But if you trade that shit like pre-London in Asia, you can use supply and demand, and that bitch hits. You know, it's just I found it kind of funny that it does that.
I swear, if you trade New York set, like just any equity market, like or like the hours, like New York Equity Open, anything like that, bro, it's straight liquidity. Like that, like you're like supply and demand. It's like if it does work, it's not even there was a liquidity rate. And I'm
Hmm.
honestly, I'm getting to the point now where I really won't play a supply or demand zone unless there's gonna be a raid to get to it. And that was a huge turning point for me as far as like for one, my screen time, and for two, my win rate. Like the risk to reward, it went down sometimes because I might not catch like the average risk reward. I might not catch every single because you get the high R moves off of like the supply and demand zones, and it's what a lot of the forex gurus like Mant and a lot of people are selling it as like a dream, and people eat that shit up, bro. But like, here's the thing about it, like it's really cool and it looks cool, and you can hit them sometimes. Like, dude, I'm not saying you don't hit high R trades off supply and demand, but they're not as like frequent or as just simple as
Mm.
a lot of people sell that dream to be. And like, when they do hit, I've noticed like back testing, especially like Bitcoin, there's always a liquidity rate. There's always that rate. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if you're just a supply and demand trader, what people write it off of, they get a higher risk to reward, but their win rate's really low. And which that's fine. Like there's nothing wrong with that. But like you got to really like trust your edge if your win rate's that low, because then and you got to be active on the charts a lot, because let's say like you have like a 25% win rate with an average 8R. Well, on paper you're going to make bread, but like are you taking every single trade? You know what I mean? Like you really got to take every
Hmm.
single one and be ready to execute at every fucking move in order to keep that, maintain your edge, because when you have that low of a win rate, you miss one trade, you're not paying attention, or your psych's fucked up and you psych yourself out of taking the trade. You take that one trade and you miss it. That was your winning trade. Now you take another 4 losses. You know what I mean? Or 3 losses, and then it's like, if you're trading with a large amount of money, it's just not a way to do it, in my opinion. I don't like that.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Because
Yep.
yeah, it's like, but that's what everybody like. It sounds really good, but like I think it's funny. I was telling somebody this because a lot of people in Playbit like meant like to teach, and I'm like, bro, that dude's like he's a good businessman, but like he's not like he's literally just selling dreams, bro. Like that shit is not how you trade. And he's pushing a funded, like he's pushing people to trade on a prop firm, but he's also
He just
pushing
wants your
people.
$7,500.
Yeah, yeah, literally,
I was talking
exactly.
about this. I was
That's like
talking
the
about this
worst
one
part.
long way.
Like,
Like
bro,
we were talking about it like what 3 days ago. I was like, bro, I don't get why people are going with different firms. In my opinion, FTMO started 2016. They're the ones that paid out the most amount of money out of any prop firms. They're the OG. So I don't get going to a different person, especially somebody offering $1 million account to do this.
yeah, no, I like MFF. I will say that I like it out of the two. It's for me, it's MFF and FTMO, and the only thing I like more about MFF is, for one, you can get more bread. For two, you don't have restrictions. And like if you trade crypto, FTMO, like if you're trading low time frames, that shit, well, it's kind of a bitch because I think you can only leverage like 10 Bitcoin or even less now with
Mm-hmm.
the especially the swing account. I think the swing account you have like no leverage. But if you don't trade crypto, you know what, it's whatever. But like you said, the biggest benefit with FTMO is they're like the blue chip. Like they're not going bankrupt
Yep.
most likely, and they're not going to fuck you out of some profits. You know, MFF you run that
Mm-hmm.
risk a little heavier because like you said, they're not like they're not the big dog. You know what I mean? So they're going to be a little riskier, but I feel like FTMO is the most they're also they're the most successful and the most long-term one, but they're also the most predatory. You know, so well, they're all
Mm-hmm.
predatory as fuck, but like theirs is like, you know, oh, you traded during news? Like you're but one thing I will say though, I did notice when I only did the trials in FTMO. I never like did
Mm-hmm.
I went that route, but I will say that the news isn't that bad. Like they don't really lock shit for as much stuff as I thought they would. You know, it's not every high because I thought it was going to be like almost every high impact event. And I was like, the
You know,
fuck?
I've traded the high impact. I've traded PMI, CCI. I traded all that shit on my FTMO account, and I have a regular. Like, I don't even know what my account's classified as because they didn't have a different type of account when I opened mine because I opened my FTMO in 2020.
Right.
So they just had, you know, I think it was like 20K, 50K, 100K, and they ran a special on the 100K account, and I bought one. And yeah, they just said don't trade during like super. I guess what they were trying to protect people against is COVID. February 2022 or 2020, and the stock market pulled back 50%. They're like,
Yeah.
oh fuck, we don't want that to happen. But other than that, I mean, I've swang and taken profits through PMI and shit. I've never gotten in trouble.
Oh, you can swing there. I think it's that if you um like open or close during it. That's the only one. I don't know
I
how hard they
closed.
are on it.
I've closed during it. I've never opened during it. I've swung into it and closed at it,
That's how
especially
you
with Nasdaq
know
because it's kind of predictable.
if they say like okay, I would understand if they said because they're like we're just making you a more responsible trader. Okay, that would make sense for not being able to open during
Yeah,
news. But when they're like you can't close, I'm like, all right, you just are trying people
yeah,
to get
that's
fucked, bro.
right.
Like,
You're just trying to get me fucked.
but no,
But I mean,
I
if
think
you're
that
trading
they're
currencies, it is what it is. Yeah.
yeah. And the thing is too, one thing that I've started to explore with currencies that I've been doing lately is I like the reason I'm watching Aussie dollars because there's so much fucking news for it recently, and like I
Yeah.
like to like that was when we traded USD CAD like that one day that was another reason why I was watching USD CAD. So like watching out for the calendar and looking for high impact events like I know I sound like a certified degen when I'm saying this, so don't misunderstand me like people on YouTube and shit, but like trading the high impact news events if you know what you're doing and you know you're patient enough to wait for a clear liquidity raid. I mean it's like clockwork. You know cuz that's what the video I have on YouTube it's like all about trading high impact news events. And that's what we see with indices all the time. But with currencies, that
Hmm.
shit goes crazy. Like I remember, like euro yen. Here, I'll actually pull it up. The um, the interest rates whenever they doubled fucking Europe's interest rates right here it was this day. I remember like this shit literally it rated this high right into this area right here and just dumped. I didn't even get to trade it, but um, I literally watched it and it came up to this zone, and I wanted to trade up this zone. And then I went on the road, like I was driving, and I watched and it just ran above this, and I was like, ah, fuck, fucking, you know, ran the high, whatever. I'm not gonna worry about it. And then I like came back like a day later. I was like, what the fuck? Because I literally was targeting all these lows, and it went there in like a couple days. I was like,
Yeah.
wow.
I was thinking of opening a second account just to trade gold. A 10K account just to trade gold.
That'd be awesome. Just one account for gold. Just monitor the fuck out of everything,
Yep, it's the DGen account because it's only $100 for the account.
right?
be opening a full lot. It's like fuck the world.
Man, well, I'm gonna hop off here. I'm not probably gonna really force anything. I've still got the Aussie dollar limit set. Got my eyes on gold still, but at this point, I think today's move is card already played out. Tomorrow is gonna give us more clear direction after we get all this news. So that's really the only thing. And if this doesn't get hit, then yeah, I don't. It really reacted nice off this fair value gap too. Could have just been this whole buy to sell range and miss. We'll see. But if this doesn't get hit before New York session today, or well, I'm sorry, no, Asia session like tonight. Like if it doesn't get hit this evening, I'll probably close. I'm not going to hold this, and depending on how far I move away from it. If we're really far from it, I'll hold it through the news, but I'll alert if I cancel them. So, anyways, I appreciate you guys. You guys know how to get through to me if you have any questions, and we will hop on here tomorrow for the midweek recap and go over how our biases we went over on Monday are playing out. So, till then, don't get liquidated. I'll see you guys later.